What up, family, friends, brethren, good people? How the fuck are y'all doing today? Welcome back to the Dominant D.N.A podcast, season 2, episode 6. As we always say, man, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you here with us. We appreciate you for that. Got super producer E-Man on the boards. Got my main man from way back in the day. Very intelligent brother. Uh, he's going to share a lot of knowledge and probably has some funny ass jokes along with it. My man Michael Walter, man, what's good with you, brother?
Oh man, I can't complain. Just maintain it. Just maintain it.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you coming through. Um, we talked about a lot of things yesterday. You know what I mean? What's the first thing you want get off your chest?
Oh, well, what you said the other day about how you have to leave some people behind and separate, I don't really fully agree in those terms. You can't really just leave people behind and separate. It's the reason why we're in these problems that we have right now.
So if you, because I know you personally, you're a very intelligent brother. You try to help niggas a lot. If you have any knowledge that somebody knows, E-Man is the same way. You know what I mean? If it's something that can help your fellow brother, sister, you know what I mean? You share that knowledge with them, and niggas just don't want to listen. What, what do you do? Do you keep trying to beat it in their head, or do you use that energy around people who also have brilliant ideas that's willing to listen to you and try to build something together? Like, what is the solution?
I think it'd be a little bit of both because you really can't force people to do right,
True.
and you can't waste your life forcing to do right, especially when you can help others who want to do right. So it's like a fine line that you really have to walk
Right.
between your altruistic behavior and your need to help your fellow man and then the need to help yourself. That's the system in which we live in, which is a problematic system in which we live in.
Right. Now, the funniest word that I've ever heard you say, uh, and I definitely want to get into this, is the niggerdom.
Negative.
Is that our biggest problem as a
Yes,
people?
yes,
Just the niggerdom?
yes. But it's not just us that mastered the negative. I mean, we learned this negative from a dominant culture that produced negative
And
and shipped it a negative around the world. This is the issues in which we have right now. I mean, you
Hold
know,
on,
I mean, you can't.
gentlemen. Before you, I know you. Please explain the niggerum. Please give me a definition of that word so I can use it properly.
Well, you know, it's almost as if logic and common sense left the body and looks down at a person and says, "You know what, though? I need a new body." Um, it, you know, somebody outside, 16 degrees, got a tank top shirt on and a pair of Jordans and some True Religion jeans on and hanging off on their knees, and they begging for change. It's things like that that make you ask yourself, like, am I wrong not to give this 35 cents? Or should I just roll my window up? Or should I say something positive to him? It leaves you in a state of confusion and shock. So I just tell people just drive on.
Yeah,
'Cause
but
it's,
but
I don't agree with that.
is it the Jordans that make you confused, or is it the fact? Well, if he's out there in that weather like that, wearing a wife beat or whatever,
yeah,
is it the Jordans that make you?
it's the whole everything. It's the picture. It's the whole. This doesn't make any sense.
right.
Because they could be Shaqs, right? They got them Jordans that look like Shaqs, right?
I would
mean, the
have
Shaqs that look
gave
like
you
Jordans.
if you had Shaqs on.
But your jeans cost $300.
Your shoes cost $300.
And please, God damn it, don't have a gold chain on You know what I'm saying? And be outside begging for change. It don't go together.
But hold on. But the squeegee boys do it all the time.
But see, and I'm not condoning it, right? At least they're trying to do some type of work. At least they actually do want to wipe your goddamn window off.
That's better.
So is
I respect a man that want to do some kind of work for $1 than a nigga that's just out there begging.
So it's the actions that make you want to give and not the look that makes you want to give.
I mean, honestly, yo, I'm to the point now where, because I've seen, even in situations, I'll give you an example. With the squeegee boys one night, right? I wanted to give a nigga like $3. It was more than one of them out there. I wanted to give a nigga probably like $2, $3. I only had a 5 and a 1. I said, God damn. But since it was more than one, I was like, I'm not just gonna give him $1.
Right.
I said, fuck it. I'm gonna give him the $6. I gave him the $6, and within, it might not have been the next day, it might have been the day after that. It might have been 2 days later. Definitely within 72 hours, I was trying to get a loan. I got a loan for like $3,500. I gave away $6.
So when you gave him that money, okay,
Yeah.
did he squeegee your windows, or you just told him go ahead do you?
I think my window really was dirty, and he did a good job. So I was like, yeah, I don't want to just give him $1.
So if he didn't squeegee your windows, would you still have gave him the money?
Well, I'm to the point now to where, though, probably not with the squeegee boys, because I've heard a lot of stories where squeegee boy shit goes wrong. I'm to the point now where if it's just somebody standing in the street, it's a couple things I do. I take a trash bag and just fill it up with old clothes, and I'll just give that to somebody on the street, right? If I don't have the clothes, if I got some ones on me, I'm to the point now where I really will give a nigga $1 just to get the fuck out my face and not tell me the story, because I don't want to hear the story. You see what I'm saying?
So how is that helping the situation?
Because I gave you $1.
Yeah, but if you don't want to hear the story behind giving $1, why give the $1?
Because a lot of stories that niggas be making up, I've caught niggas lying before. I don't know about y'all.
I don't.
You don't participate.
I don't
Okay.
participate.
Okay.
I don't.
So before you run, why don't you participate in that? What's
I just give them the money. I don't care about nothing. You ain't got to scrub my window. If I have it to give, I'm going to give. I don't want no service. I understand the reason why you're there. Maybe you may not understand the reason why you're there and you're just there. But when you understand, like, would we be in this situation if we lived in an environment that cared about us? And
I'm sorry.
I'm just saying that we have an example of a real life example of people of a place that everyone goes to and absolutely adores, and they pay their people wealthy amounts of money to just be who they are. And we are talking about Dubai. So when we have a counter to this that we live in. They pay their citizens, to be a citizen.
Yeah, but Dubai is different than America.
Okay.
Dubai is ruled by kings.
Right.
So their rules are their rules.
Right.
I mean, so you have different set of circumstances when you go over to Dubai.
I understand.
You know?
But it's at the premise, at the most elemental level. They pay their citizens.
Right, but their citizens doesn't have the freedom like American citizens do.
Okay, that's fine.
See, there's a give and take when it comes to
it's a give and take, but
that type of situation.
At the most elemental level, their people are taken care of. So what I'm trying to say is give and take in all rulership in all societies. But we as people who have been conquered and oppressed, our value has been mitigated and devalued not only by others but by ourselves. How we view ourselves is not that of grandiose. We don't view ourselves in the most positive light. We allow degradation of our communities in the music and clothes and representation in which we are presented by, either by ourselves or others. So when you come from that perspective, like, you realize if we ever have the opportunity to be what we really are, rulers and kings and queens, we may need to pay our citizens. Because right now in Dubai, they're working on flying cars, and we are still walking. We're fighting and debating about bullet trains, and people will have flying cars. So the further and further away we get from being ourselves and being human and loving ourselves, the differences, the positives, the negatives, the whole experience of loving who you are. And then, we can maybe get there like the Jetsons. But it's going to take a lot of time, unfortunately.
It's gonna take a lot of time, and I understand what you're saying. All right, let me ask you this. I want to go back to niggerdom, right?
Okay, let's go back to nigga.
In your opinion, because E-Man, we had an episode a couple episodes ago where we were talking about whether niggas and black people need to separate. And not that niggas are just black people, but because we're all black, this is a black show, that's what we worried about. You know what I mean?
I understand.
Because I think it's pretty obvious that as a whole, I'm not going to say every individual, but as a whole, in this country especially, that nobody really gives a fuck about us unless we knock up one of their women and pop a baby out.
We don't care about ourselves.
Not everybody, though.
And no, as a culture,
But
as,
is it-
as a culture, we as a culture,
Let me ask you this. And I totally agree with you as far as the majority, right? That's why I believe in the separation. Because I believe that good God-fearing people that want to better themselves, that want to raise their children properly, you feel what I'm saying, that want to do positive things and see how people get further and be more positive, shouldn't have to deal with niggas who throw chicken boxes out in front of their fucking house. Is that niggerdom?
niggerdom is niggerdom.
Niggerdom is nigga does?
Yeah.
No, niggerdom is niggerdom.
Yeah, but
I mean, you have to look at it from a perspective that we as a people we have separated. Not all of us.
No.
But the issue is when you don't control the elements of your culture, you don't control the elements of broadcasting, you don't control the elements of television networks, you don't control nothing
True.
but the words coming out of your mouth.
True.
And even we see that with Mr. Ye or Mr. West, that even that can be strange. And so when you talk about it, it's a mental crisis.
Right.
It's not just, I can separate. All right, so we separate. We got our own town. We doing great. Then somebody's cousin not doing too well. And we don't want them to go to jail. We don't want them to go to MCC. You know what I mean? They supposed to go to the feds and eat, veggies and food and but instead the choice is death. So we bring them in our community. But they are filled with foolishness. Let one in, another one come in. Before you know it, it's a bunch of foolishness because we haven't rectified the issue of the foolishness. I mean, I was just reading today on TMZ. They said, look at the celebrities and what are they eating incarcerated. Just look at their food selections. The white-collar criminals in federal jail, they get broccoli and quiche.
Quiche?
Broccoli and quiche.
Wow.
Cranberry stuffing.
Wow.
The ones in the MCC, the regular male detention centers, baked chicken.
Yeah.
but look at the difference in between the two though.
It's a huge difference.
Them dudes that doing that in that federal time, they doing federal time.
They're doing federal.
You get 20, you doing 20.
You're doing 20 years because they've allocated that in the budget.
Yeah, you doing 20.
But I've heard you might play some golf. You see what I'm saying? While you over there,
Dude,
and your general living condition, from what I've heard, is
Yeah, you live
probably
better
gonna be
federal.
better.
Right.
I even heard they got treadmills in some of them motherfuckers. Yo.
And I don't doubt that.
I mean,
but the problem with the situation is that when you go to federal, you guaranteed to do your time.
I think the problem is the fact that we put over 1 million people incarcerated and we don't have a plan for them. As a nation, I mean, our issues is so deep, and we refuse to look at them from a very logical perspective. We live in a capitalistic society that built itself off the backs of slavery.
First of all, every society does that.
Yeah, yeah,
Not just America.
yeah.
Every society did that.
Oh, I agree.
Okay.
Every
From the Egyptians
Yep.
to
Yep.
us to the Europeans.
Yep.
Every society builds their culture off of slavery.
Yep. That's
But
what they
that's
did.
not acceptable though.
But
It is. Ho, ho, ho.
That's
That
still
is
not
accept-
acceptable.
Ho, ho, ho.
You should not just accept that because everybody else
no,
did.
no. But if you are in that predicament to do it, you do it. Let's not forget that the first slaves in Africa were sold by African kings.
Yep.
Right. And
Let's
fuck
not
everybody that
let's
sold
not
them.
forget that, and let's talk about the reason they did it. The reason they did it because they went and conquered those villages.
Yep.
And they had nothing to do with those people in the village besides kill them, until they found out that those people had value to them, to the Europeans. But
Well-
before they found out the value of the slaves, they were killing those people.
Well. Let's just go back, and we all go back in time. When we really think about it, the word Africa is not an indigenous name for that continent.
A white man made it up, right?
Just like a black man made up the word Europe from the Yoruba tribe. In their history books, it says that we are all Ethiopians, not just one place, but we are all Ethiopians or Negro land, and it continues and it continues and continues because Europeans are Europeans.
Well, the word Negro is made up by Europeans.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, Europeans are Europeans. They're gonna
Yeah.
keep it. They're gonna keep it going because they are consistently fighting among themselves, and we are consistently fighting among ourselves. So slavery begot slavery, but look where we are because of this slave situation. Our earth killing us. Our women don't like us. Our children don't respect us. The animals don't talk to us. The plants don't grow when we need them to grow. It's 16 degrees outside. Things just don't make sense when you really start thinking about it, because if you're not in a truly place of love, and we can define love by lust or buying things, but a real godly agape perspective of love. And humans don't love each other. I mean, that's why we're conquered as humanity, not just black people, not just Europeans, not just Africans. But we're conquered as a species. And you see the breakdown of our species, not just segments or variations, but a breakdown on species where you can't even get along because of color that is done through evolution, which is done through climate or the ability to travel from point A to point B, because we're humans and we walk upright and we do what we need to do. When that has broken down, it's so much history that has not been taught to us, and there's so many lies that has been taught to us. Like, I was just looking up something the other day. In 1896, Niagara Falls with Nikola Tesla created direct current. And it wasn't until 1911 when Edison installed that AC, that alternative current. So at one time, we had true electricity where the cost wasn't that high. But the moment we went to AC, that's when we start seeing fires everywhere. That's when things started not rock and roll the way it was rocking and rolling. See, what we're dealing with is people's attempt to hold back humanity and hold back our technical greatness and use things to make us divide ourselves and belittle ourselves. I don't care if you're a king or a queen or a president. If you're not loving who you are, it's reflective in your community. It's reflective in your administration. It's reflective in your country. And we have a lot of people in positions of power who just don't love themselves. I don't care what they have. It's difficult to fathom. It's niggerdom.
Right. But regardless of what happened how can I put it? Um, no slavery, no oppression has been to the extent of our ancestors.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I agree, but you
Why would you say that though?
because we enduring it.
Let's look at the length of time that it's occurred.
Mm.
Let's look at the fact that everything was taken from our ancestors. It's the difference between like with African tribes.
The
Okay,
types.
yeah, y'all lost the battle, whatever, whatever. You know what I mean? You might be a servant somewhere, whatever, whatever. But they're not raping your wife in front of you, fucking your grandfather in the ass in front of the whole plantation if he rebels and ain't with the bullshit.
Come here,
You see
Bill.
what I'm saying? They're not beating you brutally to the point of damn near death. They're not killing you if you learn how to read. They not coming up with these bullshit laws where everything that black people do is a felony after you supposedly free, and then they not coming up with Jim Crow after that. The police are not just murdering black people, and then even if that shit is online and you can see it for yourself, they're still not getting convicted of these murders. Like, I'm just to the point where, let me finish. Because, and I'm not saying everybody, but on a larger scale, to me, it's pretty obvious that other races of people don't give a fuck about our problems in our communities.
But hold on,
unless
we don't
a
give a
black
fuck
man,
about our problems
unless
in our
a black
community.
man stuck his dick in your daughter and popped out a baby. You see what I'm saying? That's
Yeah, but hold on.
that's half you and half black.
But yo, come on now. Let's
Which is all
talk
black.
about what the Germans did to the Jews.
The Jews got reparations.
No.
Everything you say, everybody got reparations.
Listen. Because we're not talking about what happened after the fact. We're talking about what the fact was. Hitler killed millions of Jews in gas chambers.
He killed
burned
black
them.
people too, yo. They don't talk about that shit. He killed black people
but
too.
Let's talk about what we're talking about. All that stuff, that genocide stuff, we were slaves and got treated as slaves. He straight killed, okay? So when you want to say we had it worse than what another culture had it, I don't think we can say that.
How long was the
Because-
Holocaust? Excuse me.
A couple years.
A couple years.
Couple years.
We're talking about over 400 years
Yo.
of slavery compared
and
to
the whole-
what? 12?
Listen. But
Like,
listen,
come on,
listen,
yo.
You're talking
I
slavery.
can't stand when
listen,
black
yo.
people do this
Listen,
shit,
yo.
yo.
You're
I swear
talking
to God.
slavery. We're talking with the Jews' extinction.
For
That's the
12
difference.
years. You know
Listen,
how many?
hold on.
You know how many
Listen,
black
listen,
people
yo,
died
again,
in the Middle
yo.
Passage, y'all?
Listen, yo. Again, you're talking slavery. The Jews are what talking extinction.
Yo, how
can
can-
I interject?
Yes,
Can I interject to help? Pain is pain, regardless if you was in a gas chamber, regardless if they raped you and continue to rape you. Pain is pain. Hurt people beget hurt people, and to equate one against the other, modern day versus yesterday,
Right. That's my point.
it's like you can't equate it, but both points are correct. Chattel slavery is the worst form of slavery ever done unto man.
Thank you.
Man history, his history of mankind. His when I say his, he's the victor, he's the champion. This is his history.
Again.
So slavery, chattel slavery.
So
So the definition of slavery changed. The definition of slavery changed.
So let me ask you a question.
So where's the value?
So we are set to the fact that okay, the white man came over, the European came over, took the black man, made them as slaves. Okay,
It wasn't just him, it was the whole world. The whole world was in on that shit.
Okay. So what about the fact when we did that to them? When when the Egyptians took the Jews and made them slaves.
Well, you got
The Jews were black.
Huh?
The Jews were black.
Well, first,
They're black.
Listen again.
remember the first thing I said, that Africa is not named by an African.
It's named by a white man.
And Europe comes from
okay,
the Europe
the continent
tribe. So
beneath
you
the
are
equator.
correct. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying that it all come in full circle.
Right.
Like we were wrong. Sometimes, as men, as fathers, and we are the father of humanity, we have to take blame and ownership of our crimes against humanity. it was our own self-hate way back before there was even known time that has caused all this.
You're absolutely right.
So,
sir.
so what I'm trying to get back to is that we can argue and we can talk about who, what, why, how, all the detective stuff. But at the end of the day, it's the solution. Because if you're not solution driven, you're aspiring. And I'm always trying to be solution driven. This world right now, how can we go to Mars? I mean, as think about it, as a person who lives as a terrestrial, you know, let's forget humanity or Earth or anything. As a terrestrial, we have destroyed our solar system.
Have we destroyed it? Because we
Our
don't really
ancestors
have
did.
too much power
Our
to do
ancestors
shit.
did.
Our
gonna say,
ancestors
I don't
or
know
the
about the
motherfuckers
solar
who run the
system, but
planet
definitely-
now.
Look, out
Definitely
of
the
all the
ozone.
planets, out of all the planets that they say they have found, we're all here. Now, there's many theories, many compound ideas for the reason why we are here. But one cannot negate the fact that when they go to these different places and they see structures of yesterday, they tell you there used to be an atmosphere on the moon. This may not be the moon. You don't know nothing. They're not going to tell everybody nothing. But the general part is that we were we didn't do right.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
at the end of the day, we did. At the end of the, if we did right, we would still be able to do that.
Well, you gotta remember, we haven't been on this earth that long.
I mean, I
Humans.
agree.
Humans have not been on this earth that long.
So where
The
we come
the
from?
black man has been on this earth longer than everybody else.
But I'm saying, as a species, we have not been on this earth that long. There's been species that's been on this earth since the beginning. There have been microorganisms that's been on this earth since the beginning.
Okay.
We are just right now just the the evolution of what's going on right now. So when it comes to the what goes on earth, we haven't been here that long.
Okay.
I mean, everybody's not wrong. I mean, see, that's where I'm getting at. Like, nobody's really, really, really wrong. It's the issue of the timeline, and then the issue of the timeline. Like they keep on saying, it's a multi-timeline that's intertwined like a nervous system. And then when you start looking at the world from a nervous system perspective or a body perspective, and then you look at yourself like, where am I in the body of this place, of this timeline, of this, and how can I improve the body? How can I improve me? How can I improve us? That's where I am at. You know, to go back and forth and to fight about history and, that's something that victories. That's something that people who got time to do. We don't have too much time as a species to be fickling about stupid stuff. I mean, they just came up with cold fusion. Star travel is coming. People that we may never know who may come, they may have different agendas. But we are so caught up on foolishness. We could be wiped out with a blink of an eye.
Well, I mean, we've been wiped out, and the higher ups in society have plotted on wiping us out continuously here. So
Why are we the biggest threat? See, it's
because we the children of God,
so
genetically.
So then, therefore, we as a people of children of God, I think we need to start really be acting like it.
I mean, but here's the thing. Yes, you're absolutely
Can't
right.
separate from your child, can't you, Daddy? I mean,
Yeah,
you-
niggas separate from their blood relatives all the time.
And look at
Yes,
the trauma.
if that nigga's a piece of shit and you don't want to deal with him,
I
yeah.
understand. Yeah, I understand that. But look at the trauma. We are begetting trauma upon generation and upon generation.
But all of that shit, yes, the setup and the circumstances, yes, but at the same time, especially now with all of this access to information, opportunities that we have that our ancestors didn't. I think a lot of that shit, as a people, like we need to focus on the shit that's our fault and outgrow that bullshit. Because
Yeah.
as a human being, eventually, if you've been on the earth long enough, you know right from wrong. You know right from wrong.
Yeah.
So, like I said before, If you wake up in the morning and your biggest goal of the day is how much negative shit can I do? Like how much of an asshole can I be today? No intelligent motherfucker that's trying to better themselves and better life for their family should have to be subject to your bullshit. Period. You shouldn't have to live around that shit. And I feel like niggas should have to make a choice. We need our own separate nation, and everybody who wants to live off of government handouts, keep popping babies out so you can pay $20 a month for rent, and you just want to sell crack and shoot niggas for the rest of your life. Everybody that want to do that should be in one area. And you should have one chance to make a fucking choice. And that's it. You can't change your mind. And then everybody who want to do better, who want to get off their ass, not be a lazy motherfucker, yo, who want to actually gain knowledge, share knowledge, and actually build the community and build the nation beyond all this dumbass shit that we do as a people, we need to click up. And you can pray for them niggas.
But
they're only gonna fuck it up if you intermingle with them, yo.
But see, that complete separation.
Yes.
It sounds wonderful.
Yes.
It sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds 1950s White Citizens Council.
I know the NOI been saying it.
It sounds you miss. It sounds 1939 White Citizens Council. We could just separate ourselves from these blacks.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about us as each other.
No. I'm just saying,
talking about complete separation from
do you see
white America.
Look at the history. No, what I'm getting at, that is a history of separation, and that is a malign understanding of true economic diversity and the glory of having a republic. If diverse communities, we live in Maryland, thank God, and diverse communities are great in Maryland.
For who?
Diverse communities are producing in Maryland, but communities that are still segregated, still based on yesterday's agenda, they are not thriving in this modern day era. And
I can't agree with you.
So when you look at Columbia, when you look at Montgomery County, when you look at parts of PG County that are highly diverse, they're thriving.
PG is a majority black county.
No, I said that.
Columbia is majority white.
Well, when I say
Baltimore County is
no,
at least the west side is majority
You're missing
black
what I'm saying.
and thriving.
Columbia is a community that was planned out for diversity. That was in its roots. It was, like somebody say, hey, we're going to make these seeds, they're going to be diverse. They're not going to be homogeneous. Now, the communities that are diverse, they're doing well, their children are doing well, their stats are doing well, and we can argue statistics all we want to and why. But at the end of the day, they're diverse. And the communities that are homogeneous are not as thriving as their diverse communities. So one can argue that diversity helps. Realizing that we are similar, we have more similarities than differences. Even with the chicken box niggerdom, we still like chicken. We just understand that if we throw this outside, it's gonna bring out rats and roaches and mice, and it's gonna get in my fucking house, and it's gonna mess up my house. See, it's an educational thing that we have failed to teach. And
it's not that we failed to teach it, because you can't teach a nigga that don't want to learn. They gotta learn everything the hard way.
Look.
You can't teach a nigga that don't want to learn.
I understand. Hard head is
he gonna learn when that judge say 20 years. But that's when they gonna learn.
But that's a deviation of slavery. The whole criminal justice system is slavery. But everyone has been enslaved. It doesn't matter if you're black or white. It's variations of slavery.
I'm just to a point, brother. I can't, because nobody give a fuck about our problems. So I'm not worried about having the conversation.
So let's focus on our problems.
With black men about Jews.
No, I'm not. Let's
So-called.
talk about
Can I share the definition of anti-Semitic when you finish?
Yeah.
You go ahead. And
what I'm getting at is that I don't really focus on nothing but the things that I can control. I can't control things outside our community. So we focus on the things in our community. The first thing we need to do is look at our music that we're listening to and how our artists are being treated by the so-called music labels. And what is the ramifications of negative music on a 24/7 loop on our community when we're musical people where we vibe at a higher frequency. So that's one. And then the other one, just the music. And look how we view ourselves. Look how we communicate with ourselves.
Everybody doesn't act like that though. So
No,
that's what
no,
I'm saying.
I-
And then when you talk about segregation, I'm not talking about niggas still being on the bottom and poor. I'm not talking about
No,
that.
I'm saying-
because if you flip the script in neighborhoods and communities that are majority black, aka PG County, the west side of Baltimore County, there's a lot of thriving economics, nice income, nice schools, nice homes, nice lawns and shit like that. You see what I'm saying? It gets fucked up when them Section 8 niggas come around.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that everybody on Section 8 is bad at all, because for a lot of people, for some of my childhood friends, that shit saved their life to get out the hood and be able to get a better education.
But to look at what I'm trying to, even in our community, our definition of masculinity is based off a mandingo slave apparatus.
For
Now,
some
no,
people,
no.
it's not for everybody.
Let's just look at it.
It's
But not for everybody.
Everybody's not the same. I don't believe that shit.
In our community, I mean, I've been around. In our community, that hoodlum, that thug, that pariah is placed on a pedestal.
And when you around ignorant, dumbass niggas, when you around educated motherfuckers that got money, no, you not. Niggas gonna tell you you dumb as shit.
Yeah,
you gonna be dead or in jail.
No, what you
and I
gotta
don't
realize,
want you. And my daughter not gonna go out with you.
But you have to realize, in our community, I'm not saying that's the majority of our community. I'm saying that is an element in our community that we need to address.
Okay, but if a nigga is a grown ass man who knows right from wrong and makes the choice to get up every single day of his fucking life and be the biggest asshole that he can possibly be, and be as disrespectful, belligerent, ignorant, dumb, disrespectful. You see what I'm saying?
But-
like, how long
but-
are we gonna
it's-
keep trying to change this
It's
nigga?
not about we changing him,
He gotta want to change himself.
but we have to change ourselves. See, first of all, in our community, I'm keep on saying it again, in our community, we have elevated, have propped up the worst. We had Tupac Shakur, who with thug life on his stomach, and we thought it was acceptable.
But do you know how much
I'm just
pro-black shit Tupac was doing
listen.
outside of his music?
Listen to what I'm saying. The perceptions that we have propped up to saying this is the definition of masculinity. This is the definition of a real black man. You are keeping it real. Hasn't been positive.
But that's for some people.
No.
So,
Because you know that shit is dumb.
so let me ask you
and
a
you're
question.
a black man.
So because of Tupac and the things that he did as an activist, do that give him a hall pass for the shit that he did wrong?
He's a musician. How many white musicians talk about worshiping the devil?
No.
No.
Listen to what I'm saying though. Does that give him a hall pass?
He's an entertainer. That's like saying that Will Smith is bad if he gets in a movie and shoot a bunch of people.
No.
He's acting, yo. It's entertainment.
Listen,
Any smart, wise person should know that it's entertainment.
So what you're saying is the thug life that Tupac portrayed without his music, it was all acting.
No, I'm talking you. You
Right,
asked about
okay.
his music.
No, but I'm saying, listen to what the conversation went to. It went to the fact that he was saying that Tupac has thug life written on his stomach. He portrayed that he was a thug. He portrayed that he was hard. He portrayed you can't fuck with him. He portrayed that don't nobody fuck with me because I'm me.
And do you understand
and
that?
then, listen.
Go ahead.
Listen. Then you said, well, look at the stuff that he did as an activist
Yes.
for the black man.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is, does that give him a pass for doing the things that he did as a thug?
Okay, here's my answer. He wasn't perfect, as are none of us, right? If you look at somebody and look for flaw long enough and do enough digging, you're gonna find flaw in every human being on the face of this earth.
That's what
the
yes.
whole
right.
The
That's
whole
what
point,
we're saying.
but the whole point is, if you're a sound-minded human being, right? You understand that when you turn on a radio and listen to a song, that shit is a song. The same way if you turn on a movie, it is a movie.
But we're not talking about what Tupac's song said. We're not talking about what Tupac movie said. We're talking about what Tupac said he did. Tupac portrayed that he was straight thug.
And Tupac grew up poor as fuck.
So what I'm getting at is
with no father,
instead of
and
defending,
that's kind of like
that's the person that you would
norm.
separate from.
Right,
But
but
that's the
yo,
person that you
but
would separate
let's-
from.
Right. Thank you. That's the person you said you were separating from.
No. Because Tupac was a very intelligent
But
person.
how? But see, what you're missing.
No,
what
I
I'm
never
getting at.
said you should separate from a nigga that makes a lot of fucking rap songs with cussing in them. That means
No,
I would separate from my-
we're not
That's what you just
talking.
said.
No, we're not
That's what
talking
you
about his
just
music.
said.
No, we didn't. We're not talking about his music.
Oh
We're
my
talking
God,
about his
yo.
actions.
You just said you brought up his music.
No,
just
you
said
brought up his music.
No,
We're talking.
you brought up his music. You said Thug Life.
Yo, he said Thug Life written on his stomach.
His music.
We're not talking about his music.
Okay.
We're talking about what he portrayed in life. Tupac portrayed that he was a hardcore thug, gangster nigga.
And if
That's
you got
what-
shot,
listen,
you got shot a couple times, Joe, it would
Right.
probably change your attitude too.
But that's what Tupac portrayed. Let's say another black man that's not as popular as Tupac portrayed the same thing. I grew up in a neighborhood where motherfuckers was shooting, so you know what? I got hard, so niggas wouldn't shoot me. I did the things I had to do to portray that I'm hard as a motherfucker, so niggas wouldn't run up on me. Now, that's the same thing Tupac has done.
Okay,
So,
but
if he decides to say, you know what, I'm gonna give $1,000 to NAACP, does that make him Tupac because he did the same thing Tupac did, or does that still make him a thug that needs to be out of your community?
here's what I'm saying, yo. Just because you a thug at one point in your life, because here's what motherfuckers like to do.
You switching?
Can I finish my sentence?
I heard it. He
No,
was
no, no, no.
great saying.
Here's what I'm saying. First of all, Tupac is not even alive, so where the fuck are we going with this anyway?
We were comparing the two.
No, but what I'm saying is this. There's plenty of people in Baltimore, Maryland, who used to be ignorant, dumbass, violent ass niggas, right?
And you would have separated from him. You couldn't give him a chance to grow.
that changed their fucking lives.
Right.
So no, I'm not talking about who you were 20 years ago or how you grew up. You're putting words in my mouth that I didn't say. I'm saying as far as you as a fucking man right now,
Okay.
if you're a 40-year-old nigga that's still acting like you fucking 16, right, I don't want to be around you.
But who
and
said
no
that
intelligent person should have to be
who
around you.
said that man can't change?
If you 40 fucking years old,
You can be 100 and you can change your life.
yo,
Yes, you
niggas
can.
shouldn't have to wait for you to do that shit as a grown man.
But
Sorry.
your decisions that you make as a grown man,
Sorry.
depending on what your outcome was that you had when you're looking forward. If you
Okay,
don't know
yo.
what a man is,
All right,
because you
yo.
never had that man in your life, then you have to find out what that man is.
and
You
become
have to
that man.
look and become that man. Exactly. You
Okay.
can't if you
So,
don't have that role model in your life, you don't know what a man is.
I'm basing my decision and my thoughts as far as who somebody is right now.
And
I don't have the time as a grown ass man with children of my own to be a 50-year-old nigga father. I don't have time for that.
I understand.
Hey, I understand it too. Who's
And you don't have time for that either.
Right.
I hear all the shit that y'all talking on the camera, but I know both of you personally.
But
No
the pro-
disrespect.
no, but the-
ain't none of y'all niggas running around mentoring 50-year-old niggas that's fucking their life
no,
up.
but the problem is that you want to separate
Yes.
the reality because of what somebody is and not because of what somebody can
Because
become.
of the fact that if that's what a nigga wants to do, what I've said several times is a nigga should have to make a decision as a grown man, which is a big part of being a grown man, is making a decision. Do I want to be a drug dealing, murdering, knocking up every piece of pussy that I get and being a deadbeat ass father type nigga? You see what I'm saying? And let's not leave the women out of it because they do fucked up shit too. Not all. You see what I'm saying? Or do you want to change, stop being fucking lazy, learn something, shut the fuck up, pick up a book, learn a skill, learn a trade, and fucking be a positive person and contribute something
Right.
to your community? So I'm saying everybody that doesn't want to do that, yes.
So-
the people
so-
the people that are positive people that want to do better should not have to live around
So-
these dumbass niggas.
So let me
Yes,
say
I'm
this.
saying that.
Yeah, so let me say this. So I'm saying let's separate the motherfuckers that's not making $1 million a year. Kick them motherfuckers. We don't need, if you ain't making $1 million a year, you don't need to be in my community. That's what it is. You're separating because of economics and circumstances.
It's not economics and
It is.
circumstances.
It
It's your,
is.
it's your
all
mentality.
about,
It's your mentality.
Yo, your mentality
You
comes
have-
from your
yo,
circumstances.
You said it yourself on a podcast, yo. There are millions of ignorant ass rappers
Yo.
that got millions of dollars and they
Exactly.
dumb as shit.
Exactly.
And they ignorant
That's
as
what,
fuck.
Right.
as
But what I'm
people.
saying to you is, why did the ignorance come about? The ignorance comes about because of your economics and your status in life. When you are born, you are taught everything. You don't have. You don't.
I can't agree with that, yo.
So when do you know when you're born? When do you know when you're born?
Now, let's go back to the circle again. In our community, we have propped up some bad hombres.
Exactly. You're
And,
right
and I mean, we can define it by any way that we want to define it. Maybe I was wrong. Shouldn't have said Tupac. That's if you.
I mean, hey, let's go.
I'm just saying. What I'm trying to say is that we have propped up some bad hombres. We didn't prop up the doctor. We didn't prop up the lawyer. We didn't prop up the engineer. We didn't prop up the automobile maker. We didn't prop up the pharmaceutical creator. We propped up the drug dealer, Nino Brown. We propped up the gangbanger, Mobb Deep. We propped up the whore, Lil' Kim. We propped up all these images that are detrimental to our community. And we as a community, we fell in line. I mean, and we have to accept that, and we have to move on from it. Like, you know what, though? We did this. We did fall for the foolishness. We did fall for the fact that it's okay to disrespect your mom and disrespect your women and disrespect your children, disrespect your community. We fell for that music. We fell for that. That was a good ad that you play on us. Ha, 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 ha.
Do you listen to it?
No, I don't listen to it.
So you never listen to none of that shit?
Not no more. Not when I reach a certain level of consciousness where it's like, damn, I feel bad every day. I was in a place in my life where I felt bad every day, and I had to look around. Now I wasn't in Maryland. I didn't have any friends and family around me. I was completely alone around a whole bunch of people who wanted my downfall, people who plotted on my downfall. And I'm like, why am I so negative? It's not the environment that these people are plotting on me. It's that I already knew they would be plotting on me. It's the fact that I am indulging in negative music and in negative actions. And then once I decided that I want to do something positive, like now I don't even like to listen to a lot of radio stations because I'm like, that energy just don't make, it's not coinciding with me.
That's growth.
You know what I mean?
Respect that.
I mean, so even as a people, you know, we can talk about Jewish people, we could talk about these people, we could talk about anybody else, but everybody has to grow. And we as black people, we have to first identify, like, let's grow. Let's grow past materialism, because you can have the most expensive car, the biggest house in the world, but unless you know how to maintain it, and then how do you make the materials to maintain it, that's what we need to be getting to.
Yo, y'all sound like y'all want to be parents to a bunch of grown-ass people, because you can't make a motherfucker that don't want to change. You can't do that.
I'm not going, that's
You
not
can't
my
do that.
job.
Yeah,
My job is to make me grow.
I'm not talking about being parents to grown people. Yo.
I mean, that's what it sounds like.
No, my whole thought is I don't want to judge anyone from their past or their present. I want to judge them from their future.
There you
okay,
go.
and if you have a positive now, if you killing people all day long, I can't do nothing with you. But if you want to
That's
corner,
judging.
listen,
That's judging.
no, that's not judging. I just said I can't do nothing with them. I'm not judging.
It's the same thing I'm saying. What's the problem?
I said I can't do but I didn't forsake them though. You want to forsake them. You want to separate them because of the things they have done.
I
because
still
they're
pray for them
anxious.
niggas.
We
I
ain't
still
talking
pray for
about
them
praying.
niggas.
Yo, praying and helping them come up is two different things.
Yo, how are you going to help a motherfucker that doesn't want to help themselves, yo? Nobody can give me an answer.
You don't know who wants to help themselves because you don't want to deal with them.
Even God has his limits. That's why we in the situation that we in now.
What
God has his limits. I'm tired of trying to help you niggas.
What
you
limit
just
does
don't
God
fucking
have?
get it.
What limit does God have?
God is limitless.
He can do anything.
No, but what I'm saying is, our people, anybody who reads scripture, if you don't read scripture, you wouldn't understand. Anybody who reads scripture will understand that our people are in the position that we're in because our ancestors continuously,
not following the
fucked up.
law.
Yeah.
Not following the
Hold
law.
on. And our generation,
eventually,
our
as
generation,
merciful as God is, he like, okay, fuck it. You just got to learn
listen,
the
hold. Our
wrong,
generation's not fucking up. Our generation's not fucking up.
Come on now.
Yo, what I'm saying is, yes, there are fuck ups in our generation, but there are a lot of great people in our generation who get murdered and fuck up the quality of communities because good people get murdered by piece of shit motherfuckers.
Right.
They shouldn't exist in the same space.
There's
They shouldn't exist in the same space.
There's piece of shit motherfuckers everywhere. Why? Because you wouldn't know what a piece of shit motherfucker.
Why are we worried about anybody's communities but our fucking own? Nobody gives a fuck about our communities,
We're not talking about worrying about our communities. We're talking about the fact of separating people from people. Okay, and the only reason that you know that you're doing good right now is because you can see somebody doing bad.
Oh
Okay?
no, I'm sure there's plenty of people that would say fucked up shit about me.
But what I'm saying to you is, a motherfucker that make millions of dollars living in a mansion in California and everything, he might see you on his podcast, look at your podcast, and be like, yo, what this nigga talking about?
I don't give a fuck.
That's what we saying. You sitting there saying, I don't give a fuck. That person that's down in their luck may be saying the same thing about you. I don't give a fuck what he say. What I'm
nigga
saying
will
to
probably
you,
say it anyway. Because if
but
you're
what
an
I'm
ignorant
saying-
motherfucker and somebody trying to teach you something and tell you to better yourself and you don't want to do that shit, that's the point. You can't save a nigga that don't want to be saved.
right, but what I'm saying is you can't save somebody that doesn't want to be saved. I understand that.
I don't
but
think
then,
you do.
But then you don't separate because you judging who can and who can't be saved.
Who said they wouldn't separate?
I said if you separate.
If it was up to me, I think black people need to do that shit amongst ourselves. And you got a fucking choice. And once you make your choice, that's it.
But
if you want to take fucking government handouts, you don't want work, you just want to pop out a bunch of babies that you don't want parent, fuck it. You stay over there.
At the end,
Everybody that want to build,
end of the day,
get this money, build these businesses, leave these legacies behind, give our kids shit after we die where they can keep making money and increase our family name. Like, we need to be over here. Niggas don't need to be together, yo. That's the fucking problem. That's a big ass problem with America. You got a bunch of people that don't want to be around each other. That's around each other.
That sounds like the earth.
I'm not worried about other fucking communities.
No.
Yo.
What I'm getting at,
me personally,
what I'm getting.
I don't give a fuck because they don't give a fuck about our communities unless a black man bust a nut in a daughter and pop out a black baby.
I understand.
That's the only reason why they fucking care.
That's your perspective.
A lot of them. I'm not saying all.
Now, the issue that I have is that if you come from a place of love and real growth, you won't separate. You will see value. If when you don't see that, the lack of seeing value is the traumatic elements of slavery. Because that person acting out of line, so hateful, and they're hurt. And we as humanity, we have to define, that is a hurt person. And what do we need to do as humanity, as a societal structure, and even in our own community? What do we need to do in our own community to alleviate that pain and that hurt? Because hurt people beget hurt people. You know, this guy shot 6 people, so this guy gonna kill 12, and this guy gonna kill 24. So until we get to a place where, you know, it's a lot more love among ourselves inside our own community, where we are propping up love, not monsters. You know, when we turn on the radio, we're listening to monsters, hurt people.
They're rapping, yo. They're rapping. Any nigga that rap, 9 times out of 10, yo, a nigga that rap came from poverty. If he's black, that's the ugly fact. Most of the people that you just named, Tupac, he was poor as fuck. Mm-hmm. His mother got hooked on drugs. Yep. She was a very pro-black woman. Yep. But his childhood was real fucked up. So what I'm saying is, just because a person's childhood is fucked up doesn't mean that they can't grow into a better person.
But when you talk about separating,
about when they're a grown-ass man or grown-ass woman that's a fucking parent and a grandparent, and you 50 years old and you still a sorry-ass, ignorant, disrespectful, violent, belligerent nigga that can't handle his fucking liquor. Yes, good God-fearing black people should not have to deal with your dumb ass. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to talk about the Jews. They don't give a fuck about the problems in the black community. So what the fuck are we talking about them for? Respectfully.
But even in our community, we still have not addressed the fact that we have propped them up.
But here's what
we have propped up the worst of us.
Why are we still talking about the past? I'm talking about building the future. Tupac is not building the future.
I'm talking about
unless
right now.
we're talking about a history class about his life.
Right now. I'm not talking about Tupac. I'm talking about right now.
Here's a fact. Listen, whatever you had to say about his music, this is a fact. Tupac has done way more for black people than both of y'all put together in his life.
I'm not just talking about Tupac. I'm talking about our image of what image are we procking up?
Why the fuck are we worried about our image to other people?
No, our image
How
to
do
ourselves.
We build our community?
To ourselves.
Fucking image. Who are you?
Nigga them.
If you're an actor,
I'm gonna prop up nigga them.
No, but what I'm saying
I'm
is,
going to prop up niggerdom. I'm going to make niggerdom the highest degree of black life.
if you raise your kids right and tell them
No,
this is a movie,
when we
this shit
turn
is
on
not
TV,
real life.
when you turn on the radio, when you watch things on the podcast, and all you see is the worst. And when
That's
I'm
not
try-
true. You got very intelligent podcasts.
No.
You
What
got
I'm,
very
what,
intelligent
what I'm trying to
podcasts.
say
I'm
is
not
that
accepting that.
you
Sorry.
see the worst.
No, you don't. You see
Okay.
everything.
Okay.
There's very intelligent podcasts out there. I can
There
put you
is,
deep
but
with
I'm
something.
just saying, like, look at the images.
Okay.
The
Okay.
image of us.
Yeah, but you got very intelligent podcasts, but you also got the #1 podcast that do nothing but drama on them.
Why are we worried about that?
Because we're talking about image. So you
I'm
can't
not
take the
talking
good.
about
You
image.
you
I'm talking
are.
about,
You
I'm
can't
talking
take
about who you
can't-
really are.
Right. You can't take
Fuck
the good with
your
the bad.
image.
That's who we are. We have some bad seeds. We have some good seeds.
So you don't
We-
believe that it's niggas out here that's just acting like a complete shit face on a podcast to get views for the shock value?
It's
absolutely.
just the same
Okay,
as the nigga
so that's
acting
not
crazy on the streets, just to
right.
get credit on and cred on the
What do
street.
you mean if he's murdering motherfuckers?
That's
yo?
cred.
You murdering a nigga for no fucking reason. You
That's
wake up in
cred.
the morning and just want to kill a nigga for breakfast. That's
We
not
put
no fucking
niggerdom on the
image.
top.
You taking somebody's life.
Everybody want to
Now,
be Cookie Williams.
the last
Everybody want to be
point-
Suge.
The
We
last
put
point
it on
that
the
I would
top.
want to make, yo, is that niggas talk about separation like it's bad. But if you have a drug addict, right? You don't leave the nigga on the same strip that they cop from every fucking day. Like, you could do it, Pookie. You could beat that habit.
You put him
no,
in rehab.
because that's dumb as shit.
You put them in rehab.
Sorry for yelling. What you do is you take them and you move them out of that fucking environment. And then if they dumb enough to go back to the strip and do the same dumbass shit, that's on them. You don't leave them in the same place.
How does that equate to what we're talking about separating dumb
Because
people
you
from smart people?
separate them. They get separated. They get separated.
So if they're separated, how do you know if they rehab or not?
if they in rehab,
Yeah, if
what
you
do
take a junkie and you put it,
They
you
would know if
separate
they
them
in
from what they
rehab.
do. How do you know if they rehabbing or not?
If
You
you
don't know until you put them back
keep
into
an eye on them, how do
society.
you know they're gonna grow?
Right, you don't know until you put them back into society and find out what they have accomplished.
But in order to improve themselves, they separate. That's my whole fucking point. It's a
Dude,
scientific
separation
fact.
does
It's a
not
scientific
improve.
fact. That's why you have dogs and you have wolves. Number one is the environment. We didn't really touch on reparations because that's the first fucking part of it, because most of the niggerdom comes from fucking poverty. If every nigga could get a 6-figure a year job, crime would decrease drastically in Baltimore.
No,
It would
crime
decrease
would
at least
not.
by
Yo,
50%.
that's been proven that it's untrue because the economics itself. If you put, let's say, if you put minimum wage at $100 an hour, do you know they'll still get fucked because they'll make the prices of everything up where you
I'm
need
not talking
$300
about
an hour
that.
to make
I'm
it happen?
talking about when somebody
Yo.
can make a decent living. I'm not talking about all of this shit that niggas get on my fucking nerves with, because every conversation we have is always the fear of what the white man is going to do after we get a blessing. Why the fuck are we worried about that?
Yo, we not
That's
worried
like a
about what the
nigga
white
being
man-
on-
yo,
that's
the
like
white
a
man
nigga
has-
being
yo,
on
the
a
white man has
plantation.
nothing- the
That's
white
like a
man
nigga
is-
being on a plantation and being scared to run because of what massa gonna do. Like, yo, we gotta get over this fucking fear, yo, and stop trying to be all cuddly buddy with people that don't give a fuck about us, in my humble opinion.
Yo, then how do you build a society? You
You
don't.
do that shit yourself. You do
Yo,
the same
you-
shit
yo,
that the
you
Nation of
cannot
Islam
build
been
a
telling
society.
you for over
You
60
cannot build a
years, yo.
society by yourself. It
Oh
just
my
doesn't
God.
happen. You can't
Oh
do
my
something
God.
by yourself. You can't accomplish
As a
one
people,
thing
as
by
a
yourself.
people. So 30 million fucking black people can't do shit unless
Yo,
without white people. That's what you're saying?
No, has 30 million people, black people, done shit? From what you're equating,
The
no, we
intelligent
haven't.
positive ones have done a lot.
But what you're equating,
The,
that we
the
haven't.
intelligent positive ones have done a lot. That's
And they
why
have
I'm saying-
separated.
What'd you say?
And to be honest, the real wealthy blacks,
I'm not saying
They're
I'm not, it
separating
ain't all
themselves.
about wealth.
They're
I'm saying
already trying to separate
they
themselves.
already did.
Right.
They already gone. They already sending their kids to the $100,000 a year prep school.
that doesn't make you a good person.
But they separated.
That doesn't
We
make
see
you a
the
good
example of the
But
separation.
okay. So what does that make them then, in your opinion?
Nigga that goes to $100,000 school, you can still be a piece of shit as a person. See, I'm talking about this, yo. I'm talking about who you are on the inside.
Right.
Fuck your
That's
image
what I'm
and all
talking
that
about.
other
Who
shit.
you are on the inside.
Going to
Economics-
a $100,000 prep school doesn't mean that that's going to make you a decent person.
Right. And getting welfare from the government doesn't mean that you're a fucked up person.
And I already said on several episodes that it doesn't. It's your fucking mentality. Do you want to do this shit forever, or do you want to get off your ass and establish something for your
let's go
fucking
back,
self?
Let's go back to my point again. We in our community, we have failed our community because we have propped up some real horrible images of us. And until we work on that image, we will be better. And until people in our community can identify that is television and that is fake, that is not real. And to we have people as a community, because you know we are different. Like you say, we are different than everybody else. So we need to be a little bit different than everybody else and counter the imagery that has been shown about what is a black man, what is a black woman, what is a black family, what is a black community, what does it really mean to thrive? Because we may transcend capitalism, and I know we do, because you just said we God's people. So we as a community need to transcend these things. We need to evolve. And how we do it, I don't know.
Separation. Separation. That's the only fucking solution. It's the Dominant DNA podcast, episode 6. You know what I'm going to say if you watch the show. 2 things. Niggas that get these fucking Section 8 vouchers, stop going to good God-fearing communities and fucking them up. If you get out the hood and you got an opportunity to do better, yo. Don't do nigga, yo. Please. Better yourself. And if you got a smartphone, you shouldn't be a dumb nigga. I love you. Peace.